We are here at the CX Festival in Brandenburg, and we were invited with the TechReview podcast to take a look at what is happening here. But I'm really looking forward to talk to some of the people, especially in regards of artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is something that is flowing into all areas of life and also into customer experience. So let's have a look.
The whole idea of the festival came together when my boss, Julian, he's now on stage right now, met with Robert at the CX update in Munich with Zendesk. It was in April this year. And actually it was a little bit alcohol involved. And then he said, yes, let's do that. It sounds like an amazing idea. And the whole idea behind is not doing one of these events in buildings where you just see booths and it's the same speech as ever again. We wanted to do something new, something fresh, especially in the CX market where people are a little bit old school sometimes, right? And that was the whole idea of it. And with the speakers, what we did was we thought of our network, the people we are working with daily, and how they can support all the people coming here with knowledge. So that's the main idea of the event, support people with knowledge.
And how did you select this venue? I mean, it's very pretty with beach and water and everything. How did you come to this?
Well, the first idea was do it in an area around Hamburg, but basically most of the people coming also from abroad, coming to Berlin, everyone knows it, right? And then we were searching for a venue out here, and actually LeafWorks got the venue here, and it is a good venue. It's picturesque. You can be as loud as you want, which is very good, right? Because that's the next thing. Drinks are included when you buy a ticket, and it will be a long night probably a loud night. So that was the plan, not just having these talks and keynotes and workshops, but also having events like axe throwing. We will do that later on. Yeah,
very nice. Sounds dangerous.
Depends on how many drinks are involved before. And also the beach volleyball thing and the wakeboarding. So we wanted to do something more natural, more in person, more out of the scope of an event, and that's how they came up with this place here, and it's lovely.
What are the main topics of this conference? I mean, of course, customer experience, right?
Yeah. So one of the main topics, because that's in the media everywhere, is how to use and utilize AI.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone knows it. Everyone knows that ChatGPT and whatsoever. But for example, Bubbleforce is a voice provider. We are doing voice bots and doing conversational AI, but that means you have to narrow it down to something a customer can use, because with a spoken word, things are sometimes weird. If ChatGPT just tells you something about an elephant when you ask for a ball, that doesn't make much sense, right? And that's the main topic: how to use and utilize AI with Bubbleforce, also with Zendesk as a ticketing system, to bring it further, to deflect these repetitive tasks for agents and make life for everyone easier.
And since you just mentioned that, one of the big fears that we always hear is that people are going to be replaced by AI. Is this a topic that you regularly talk about?
We talk about it, but we think that it won't happen, because when you use AI in a way that it really is value for a company, we think that these repetitive tasks, for example, why do you call or why do you write an email? Something I need very often is to get a copy of my last invoice, because I usually delete these emails. That's something a bot can do, an AI can do, but also creating Q&A. You can use these AI techniques to create a better Q&A section automatically. But these hard tasks, someone has a bad mood, someone is just not satisfied with the product. You need to have a person there. So what we do is getting rid of the repetitive tasks and really get the calls or the emails or the chats or whatsoever to the agents who can really handle the problem.
I'm Matthias from Klaus, and we as Klaus, we do quality assurance. And with quality assurance, we basically make sure that the communication that all of our customers are having are always at the highest quality, so we can identify problems, challenges within these conversations. And the context of AI makes a lot of sense for us, because when we talk hundreds and millions of conversations, it's really hard to digest those conversations, and AI allows us to do that for our customers. And when our customers then enroll AI solutions like voice bots, chatbots, it's very important for them to also have the eye into, or the ability to look into the conversation, generate insights into what's happening when the bot interacts with a human. And this use case is really, really interesting. We're basically, what we do is we're the bot that can check the bot for quality. So it's like a bot quality case, basically.
Okay, and is the AI use case something new, like from the past 12 months, or is this something that you are longer involved with?
You mean we as a company?
Yeah, in general, because ChatGPT and the
Yeah,
whole OpenAI revolution started like 1 year ago,
Yeah.
even though AI technologies and chatbots are not
I
that
see your
new,
point.
right?
Yeah, so like for us as a company, we have a rather large team of data scientists and PhDs that have been working on large language models, NLP, NLU themselves for a long time. So we've been having AI solutions before the big trend now hit already, but now obviously this has accelerated everything. I mean, the capabilities of the large language models we utilize. We have our own Klaus GPT, as we call it, but we're also utilizing OpenAI and ChatGPT through Microsoft Azure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically how we look at it.
What can you tell me about the customer acceptance of AI and chatbots?
Yeah.
I always imagine that people are very scared or skeptical if they don't talk to a human being.
I can tell you maybe a little bit more on our AI solution,
Yeah.
how the acceptance there is, because we are not a chatbot provider.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We help chatbots scenarios to be enrolled successfully without risking customer satisfaction and customer loyalty. But for us, we see that generally now that the trend has hit, people have the highest expectations of it suddenly, and they think the Terminator is just around the corner.
Of course.
Which it is not, but there's a lot of power in what it can do. But the people need to understand how the symbiosis of human and AI now really can look like, and how they can benefit from each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the process where we find our customers, our people in that are interested in talking to us. And that journey is really picking up now.
What would be like the biggest challenge that you regularly stumble upon?
The biggest challenge for us when it comes to our AI offering is people to really understand how to make the most out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They, for example, is our technology capable to detect if a solution was provided within a customer and company interaction, and to them that means something different than it means to the machine potentially, and to just bridge that gap. And that's what I meant earlier. The symbiosis of human and machine, that's an ongoing process, and that's the main challenge, I would think.
Yeah, and I think for the hype cycle, this is exactly the bridge that we try to find. Some people try to use AI for everything, and now we have to find exactly this middle ground where we can combine both.
Exactly, and really understand how it can benefit you with what it can provide.
Right.
And don't expect it to be the Terminator and give the perfect answer. It will also make mistakes. It will hallucinate potentially.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you can benefit a lot from it, and it's just another really powerful employee that you have at your site that has properties that no human can have.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't look at it. You shouldn't have a human comparison. It should be a human bot comparison.
Yeah.
So it's really bridging the gap and I guess knowledge and understanding for what the technology really means now.
Right.
And as it has come so quickly, it's now time for us to educate the market on what it really can do and how to make the most value out of it.
Exactly. I don't think that there's any way around this. This technology is here, and it will definitely stay.
Yeah.
So I think we're looking to understand what problems still exist for CX right now, right? So there's been a lot of change. COVID happened, people's expectations of customer service changed, how people actually work, how they staff their teams also changed. And then more recently, we've had a change because of technology from AI. So what we want to understand is what the customer service problems are for all of these leaders. Are they still quite typical? Are they about planning? Are they about activities and scheduling? or are they also about employee retention and happiness? And then that's what we want to bring into our tool. We've got a great tool, we've got a great team, we're very young, we're very quick, we can adjust really rapidly. And so we want to know how we can help partners, companies, leaders that have attended here. And ideally, we just make work more human.
In the past 12 months, I think AI technologies like exploded and flooded into all of these areas. Are you a young company just emerging with the AI hype, or did you do this for a longer time?
Yeah, so we were founded in 2021. We're now obviously, like a lot of other companies, working on an AI beta tool that's going to help revolutionize and automate some things within our own software. But yeah, it's really exciting to be in the world of CX right now with AI, making all of these big promises and sort of watching those unfold is really exciting. Our platform, Surfboard, our mission is to make work more human. We're a workforce management software that works with hyper-growth companies, so SMB-type companies, to partner with their CX teams and provide them with a workforce management tool that centers the surfer or the agent in the experience. And so we're a tech product, and we're really excited to be working with other, SaaS and tech companies. We already have a bunch, but we're actually just, here to meet more and to sort of understand their CX operation and the different challenges that they're facing and see if there could be a fit. We'll be speaking to the head of CX, who will need a scheduling tool that does forecasting, adherence, easy shift planning, and things like that for its team. And we'll basically provide those tools. We'll connect into your ticket and telephony systems to provide forecasting per channel. We'll offer adherence that's based on, agent interactions and ticket interactions through the ticketing system. And then we'll also provide managers and team leads and team captains with an easy way to schedule their team. We'll also link into your HRIS system, your GCal, your Slack to give full visibility to agents and to managers over their team schedules. So that's basically what we do in a nutshell. But our mission is to make work more human, and we're very much about that ethos. So very excited to be sharing that with some people here today.
So your mission statement is
Make work more human.
Make work more human, right?
Yes.
And I was wondering, since right now everything is shifting it towards AI, how does this fit together?
We think it fits really well together. We've seen in previous waves of technology and automation that AI definitely helps, but all it really ends up doing is changing the profile of work that the agent, the human, the surfer actually does on the other side. And we actually think it'll be really positive because it will automate away a lot of the low-value tasks where agents were typically doing things that were straightforward, that were simple, and it'll allow them to focus on the stuff that's more sensitive, needs more personalization, is more complex, multiple systems. And that's why we think it'll be better, because it frees up the agent to do the more complex, that is more meaningful and more impactful for the end customer.
I totally agree, and I think a lot of people are afraid of losing their jobs to AI, but making it more human is actually a better course, right?
Exactly. And I think what we've realized is the companies that will do the best and survive AI and all of its opportunities, but also challenges, are the ones that have the best service. But a lot of the best service will depend on the most motivated, the most trained, the most eager agents. And a lot of that will come from an environment where their work is more human. There's as much a focus on the end customer, but the manager, but as well as the surfer and the agent. And that's why we're trying to make sure that we build a tool that isn't just for the manager and the decision maker, but is also for the agent on the other side.
What are your experiences so far with human adaptation of AI technologies? One of the big questions is always, can people really trust AI, or does this alienate everyone? Is it something that you had experience with?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's not something I've had personal experience with. I think the cool thing, and maybe the scary thing about AI, is that it gets better the more we use it, right? And so it will continue to improve and iterate on itself as it sort of gets used more and more and unfolds and learns from itself, by itself. And so, any of the questions and qualms that we're having with it right now might be irrelevant in 2 years' time. So I think that's the really exciting thing about it.
Maybe from a marketing point of view, do you feel forced to include AI because today everyone wants to have AI everywhere? Or is this like a deliberate decision for actually the product itself?
It's a really good question. I think recently we were at an event where there was a slide, and I think it was ironic, or I took it ironically, and it said, every company now is an AI company. And we did laugh at that. I think, we're young, so we can move really quickly. We ship really fast. We have more engineers in the company than any other function. But what we are quite willing to do is be honest. We've taken a look at AI. We've taken a look at the LLMs from GPT. We don't think they're ready yet. So we've got quite clear vision of AI. There's 3 parts to it. One is that you can generate a schedule based on text. So you could simply say, hey, I want 5 people doing this, this, and this, and it'll build it for you. We also think that AI has a role to play in querying the quality of your schedule. So where have I got gaps? Where have I got people who are least trained? And the last thing is to make it easier for us to forecast or plan capacity based on the fact that, as you mentioned, AI is going to deflect a lot of inflow and a lot of contact. That's what we want to solve the problem for. We don't think the technology is there yet. So we'll take a look at it. Our plan is to every 3 months, 6 weeks, maybe even 6 months, assess the technology and how it's evolved. And only when it's ready, only when we're happy with it, based on the quality we like to uphold, do we think it's ready to actually release.
We are actually also working in tech and with AI technologies. That's why I'm super interested in if you are working with these AI technologies more on a chatbot level and introducing it for conversational means, or actually for back-end services and learning about customer behavior or something.
So we don't have a chatbot or anything like that. Again, we're more of a workforce planning tool, but we do integrate into tools like Zendesk, Intercom, Front directly, and help facilitate their planning per channel for team leads, right? So team leads might know because of our tool that they'll need 12 people on chat at any given time in order to hit their SLAs, and we'll be able to pull that information from Intercom and give that to the team leads and tie it all back to SLAs, average response times, and things like that. So that's really where we come in as valuable.
We heard a lot about AI and everyone kind of mentions AI on the side. Is this something that impacts you at your work?
Yeah, 100%. So maybe a little bit of background. I'm working for Zendesk.
Yeah.
So we are a customer support tool. Been there for 15 years, kind of like the big guy in the room. And since I'm working with startups, it's a lot about this, what can we do as a next feature. Sadly, because it's, I think, a little bit of a hype topic at the moment.
Yeah.
There is like overshadowing the basics a little bit. So they are just like jumping to AI before even just like doing some basics in their setup. For me, it's kind of like when you build a house, you would never start with the third floor, but people do it. So I like AI, I use it, I use ChatGPT and all these kind of things, and it's super cool, but to some extent, because you still have to do the basics to then use it on top of what you're doing, because otherwise it's just like bad cooking.
And since I already have you here as a representative of Zendesk, I would be very, very interested, since Zendesk is basically everywhere, did you hire like a workforce of 1,000 AI engineers or something to prepare for like the big shift to AI?
Not that I know of. I would also say that it's not like my pay limit to talk about these things in the hiring. What I know is that we launched a new product feature. So we have advanced AI now implemented in our products, and I also know that a lot of like colleagues are using it. So internally, we are also using AI. We are also using AI for like a couple of years by now, but it was not cool back then, so nobody was talking about it.
Yeah.
But that we dedicated like some dedicated hiring for AI, I'm not aware of.
Since we are here with customer experience, right? I'm super interested in some experiences that you might have made if people are actually accepting AI technologies, or are they feel threatened by them? Did you receive any feedback in this regard?
Yeah, so I would say it depends on the age of the person.
Yeah.
So for example, my mom is just like listening to maybe a podcast or rather the radio station, or just like reading something in a newspaper, and she's like, oh my god, yeah, it's gonna be like Matrix or like iRobot in like 3 years. I think if you are working in the scene, you see it like a little bit more realistically. Like how many times are you like opening ChatGPT and you're putting something in like, hey, please phrase this for me, or like, please tell me what coffee machine to buy, and at the end there are mistakes, just like wrong links, or just like straight up like wrong stuff. So I would say, realistically, I'm not scared. People that are like in the space, in the tech space especially, are not scared. And then also a lot of people are not even aware of it. Like it's super like a bubble theme. Like when I talk about like other people that are working something completely different, they're saying, okay, what are you talking about? Like AI, or in German KI, right? Like never heard of it, don't care about it. So I would say it's split. Some people say, hey, we have to be careful, and I think that's valid because it's super, super powerful. And other people are just like more realistic about just like it's something that is like in in children's shoes, how you say in German, right? Like it's at the beginning. So it's a little bit how maybe 10 years ago, some people were already using Google Maps and were just like, it was buggy, right? Like everyone ended up in like some wrong street or something. And then by now, the only person I know that is not using Google Maps is my mom, again, like using maps still, like old maps on made out of paper. And everyone is just like using it. And there's also like a lot of AI in Google Maps, but we just like don't care about it because it's just like our everyday tool. So
Right now, I feel like all conferences, all meetups, everything are focused on AI. AI in user experience, AI in software development, AI everywhere, right?
Again, it's a hype topic. It also brings people into a room. Like I was in Israel a couple of weeks back, and we had a Future of AI event there. And sure, then 2 days later, we also did like a couple of talks and panels for our customers, and just like brings them into the door super easily when you say, hey, we're talking about CX and AI, then if you just say we're talking about CX, because then I say, hey, I know everything about customer experience, which is not true, because it's also changing. Like there's always like something new to learn. But if you just like put AI behind it, again, for me, it's a little bit when it comes to like the hype, it's a little bit like crypto or NFT. Like a couple of years back. Not saying that it's like the same thing, because I would say NFT is just like straight up a scam. Like it's not working by now.
Valid point.
As we know by now, like it's gone, and AI is working. But you just have to be realistic. Also, like if I have a panel, if I'm like doing something like this, it's important to talk about the other topics, right? Because if we only talk about AI, people think, okay, that's the only thing we have to do. That's the only thing that's interesting at the moment. And it's not true.
What is your point of ROI in AI?
Well, if you look at the studies of this, then you see that we're lucky in this space that we're working in, which is customer service and CX. That's the space that we sell to, so contact centers and so on. That happens to be one of the top 3 areas for getting good ROIs from AI. And that's been the case even prior to ChatGPT, even when it was deployed in more complicated ways. And I think the reason is that it's very realizable. So if you save minutes from an agent's time, an agent being a contact center representative, right, a customer service representative, then they cost a lot of money. In Europe, the average is about 55 cents. You know, it's often €1 or more. You add that up pretty quickly, right? In 1 million calls with 2 million minutes, let's say, that's a lot of money, right? That's why you typically have business benefits cases that are around the $1 million+ mark at least, even if you have a relatively small number of agents in the contact center. So it means that a lot of ROIs are abstract. So they are in principle, like you can work them out on a spreadsheet. The difference with deploying AI in customer service is that it's very quickly realizable. Because as soon as you save those minutes, you're no longer sending them to your external outsourced provider, for example, for the call center or contact center, which means that you start saving that money immediately. Now, even if it's only internal, you make more money by freeing up the agents to do the higher quality human-to-human interactions, and they don't have to focus anymore on the routine stuff, which is really, really dull for agents, makes it harder to retain them. And that's also a cost center. Like actually, the difficulty recruiting, training, retaining agents is really like a major crunch in the contact center. So that also adds up, it stacks up on top of the earlier components I mentioned, making the ROI actually pretty dramatic.
Right now, the hype of AI technologies basically everywhere suggests that we can replace basically everyone by AI and saving 100% of the cost. Is this like a discussion that you have, in fact, in your company as well, to reduce staff and replacing them with AI, or is it just like a shift of responsibilities?
I don't see this quite so dramatically, because if you look at let's say a digital bank, many of us are using new digital banks that are app first, right? So if you use a bank like that, you would imagine, this app first bank, they probably don't have any people in customer service because it's an app, right? But actually, if you look at those businesses, the ones that are successful and grow really quickly often have a lot of agents. And what those agents do is they call people up or write to them and then call them up. And the reason is that it's quite hard to get people to adopt technology and to form a relationship with the brand. So I think what is happening is that we're actually seeing a shift to the needing and wanting, in fact, to have human interaction for certain types of of cases, while getting rid of the human interaction where in a way, why would you have a human do it? Because like, why would you have a human take meter reading updates in a utility company? Millions of them happen every month, but it's an absolutely trivial process, and actually it's a very unhappy job to do, right? So and also in our business, you asked about our business. I mean, we basically turn creativity into software. So no, I mean, we're just adding people all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem in our kind of business is there's not enough developers and engineers in the world, you know. So and I think that's another aspect of this. What will the future look like?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot more differentiated than we think. I don't think it's like, yes, lots of jobs will be automated, but the job titles I've had for the last 20 years, most of them didn't exist a few years before I had the job. And I think that trend is going to continue. I'm not playing down the fact that it could be a mess, right? Because it won't be evenly distributed, and there will be areas that will be automated away very quickly, and it will be hard for us as a society to deal with those things, and I think it's a job we have to do. So it's not that it won't be messy, you know, because the future, what's that phrase? The future is here, it's just not evenly spread out, right? And that's always going to be the case. So I think, but I see it in a differentiated way. I think there's lots of opportunities and there's lots of challenges.
On the stage, I also heard like the phrase Turing test, and how the chatbots and the robots are getting more and more advanced, and basically from quality-wise actually can replace humans. But did you make this experience that maybe on the first level support, people feel alienated if they can't speak directly to a human being?
Of course, of course. I think it's a case-by-case thing. Like if you buy something that costs a lot, or if you spend a lot of money with a company, or if you are involved in a process where you're very upset at the time when you call, then it's, you know, in those cases, and a few more situations, you definitely want human-to-human interaction, and you're going to be irritated if you don't get it, including me. And I'm a major, I'm the AI like fanboy, like poster boy here, you know. That's just a fact. And again, I think that's okay. I think you'll also be irritated though if you're human and you phone up and you only want to do something really simple, and you hear, well, the earliest time I can get you an agent is 20 minutes, or tell you nothing and you wait 40 minutes listening to bad music, right? So that of course disappears with the automation. So I think you take away some irritations, but like I mentioned the digital bank example, I would say that in many situations, if you're going to build your brand and you're going to grow your company, then you have to build in the human-to-human interaction. Right. The question is, when do you use which one? Obviously, you sell something for $1, you know, and you buy it for you're not going to have a human take the sales call, right? You know, it's just not going to happen. If you buy a sofa for $3,000, then you know, then you're probably going to want to talk to somebody, and you're probably going to want to check about, is it insured and when will it be delivered, and right. And I think those are two very, very different cases.
True, absolutely true. The conference out in nature is kind of interesting. On the one hand, it is super cool to have all the sun and the water and wakeboarding and everything all around that. But at the same time, I'm pretty sweaty. I have sand everywhere. So this is usually not the feeling that I have when I walk through a conference. How are you, Alex?
I had to shush away 2 spiders that wanted to grab me, the camera, and run away.
Yay, nature!
Yay, nature! We have a lot of nudists running around here, so it might become.
Germany.
Yeah.
So don't get us wrong. We are not complaining. It is just completely different to anything that we experience on any other conference so far. But from the content perspective, customer experience, what I did not expect was that basically every single talk also included the topic of AI technology.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun, actually.
Yeah, it was perfect for us because this is the topic that we can actually talk about. And customer experience is something that is maybe even most important for us as a customer, right? And this technology is everywhere, penetrating all of the areas and technologies.
You know what came very interesting along is that even though a lot of those customer experience companies, about specifically also about sales support and so on, they also try to incorporate either they have already chatbots running, and either they are based on AI, but they are not with a company that was presenting today, but it's in there. it's in there, right? So
Yeah.
they kind of do something with it. They are also very aware of hallucinations, and that the customer would want rather to have like a discussion with a real human over just a machine. So there are a lot of thoughts who go into this whole discussion about customer experience and AI at this point.
And I remember like 3 years ago when everything was around blockchain, we saw.
We don't
this-
talk about that.
I mean, the truth is everything had to be blockchain. Every company and every innovation had to have the word blockchain in it. Everything had to have blockchain in their name. And right now, I think in the past 12 months, it was kind of the same with AI technologies and LLMs. Everything that was founded, everything that was new invented, everything had to have AI and language models in there. But a very, very interesting quote that we got from peers right now, like in our last interview, was that the ROI, the return of invest, is basically what we have to keep in mind when we design new products and when we design new interfaces, because at the end we don't benefit from simply throwing AI everywhere. We also have to keep in mind that we want to get something out of this, right?
CX Festival is a fully fledged success, I would say.
Yeah, and I think they are already planning. And I think they are already planning a second version next year. And so it is super interesting to see how this format is evolving and if people are going to love it or not so much because of the sand in your shoes.
At least, yeah, I mean, if it goes everywhere, you won't like it. But I saw that they have ice cream, and I'm kind of compelled go hunt down some ice cream right now.
We are going to have ice cream now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So totally do, right?
See you next week and hear you next week. Totally do. Let's go back to the studio.
Where there are no mosquitoes.
No mosquitoes, no spiders, no sand.
No
but
naked people.
it was a great atmosphere.